Hey, everybody, it's Friday. Yeah, that's right, Friday, and it's time now for your Berkshire Hathaway bi-weekly podcast. Joining us again this week, he was here Wednesday, he's back today, your realty expert, John Brodeen. We'll be talking with John right after this.
Look, if you want that home, let's go get you that home. And it's okay to feel a little nervous. Or to not know what to look for. Because our network agents have the expertise to take the scary out of buying a home. Well, most of it. Now, look.
Hey, there we go. John, the nose looks better today.
Yeah.
You're slowly healing up, buddy. How have you been these last few days?
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
What do we want to talk about today?
So I was going to talk a little bit about getting sellers to prepare for their home inspection. So, home inspection is a time when a lot of deals can fall apart. It's a really emotional time for the buyer because they've just made this big commitment to the house. And, maybe there was kind of some, they get a little crazed trying to offer and try to get the deal, sometimes fighting against other offers. And then now they finally got it and the gravity of the situation sets in. It's a big commitment. And then the next step is when they're going to get their home inspection done and find out every little thing that's wrong with it.
So you have to have a home inspection in order to buy or sell. Is that correct? Unless it's just like a total cash deal or something, which I'm sure is pretty rare.
So that's a good question. You do not have to have a home inspection. We do recommend it.
Okay.
So you do have to have an appraisal, and that's probably what you're thinking of.
Okay, yep.
So the appraiser has to come out and walk through the house and do an appraisal, unless the bank waives it or if you're buying cash. Sometimes they'll do like an internal evaluation if it's like a commercial deal or something. But pretty much whenever you're financing a house, you can expect to have it appraised at or above the purchase price.
And with an inspection, I don't know what in a nutshell what the cost for an inspection is, but you'd be really foolish not to because, like you said, that's a really big investment. And if you buy what you think is your dream house and you find out in a couple of months it's not your dream house because you didn't get it inspected.
Yeah, and it really helps give you that peace of mind as a home buyer. There's the every now and then you find something that you can negotiate out with the sellers. Maybe the sellers didn't know about it either.
Sure.
And maybe they're willing to fix it in such a hot market. You have less luck with that now, but it is something to keep in mind. The home inspection, you're hiring a third-party home inspector of your choice. So they can only inspect what they can see. So, they're not digging into walls. They're not,
right.
I think they can scope sewer pipes or you can have a plumber, but most people don't do that. Sometimes if you want them to, they can check for radon. If they find something, fuzzy in the attic, you can get it tested and see if it's mold. But for the most part, it's a visual inspection. They're going to climb up on the roof usually, or at least inspect the roof, check out your gutters, check out your drainage, all that kind of stuff. Check out your furnace and air conditioner. They'll be able to look up the serial number, tell you how old the units are, water heater, check out, make sure there's not leaks from what they can see in the plumbing. So it's pretty thorough. It's going to run you probably anywhere from like $300 to $450 depending on how big of a house you got. So when we're telling sellers, obviously we want sellers to address as many things as they can beforehand so they don't get caught on this inspection because this is when it could overwhelm a buyer. And even if they have to pay for it as a result of the home inspection, it would have been better for them to pay for it beforehand and get it done so you don't have as long of a list and risk scaring off the buyer. First off, if the house is vacant, make sure you turn, like a lot of people turn their water off in the winter if the house is vacant. Turn the water back on, make sure all the utilities are on to the house, or else they're going to have to come back. If you're living in the house, you're going to prepare to be away for about 2 hours. That's how long it takes typically. You're going to leave any keys, garage door openers so that they can access everything. Make sure that they can easily access like the attic hatch, the electrical panel, crawl space if applicable, and the garage walls. So make sure you don't have so much junk around that they can't inspect everything that they have to inspect. If you've got pets, at a bare minimum, kennel them. You should probably take them out of the house though during the home inspection because the buyers are probably going to be there at the end. So you still want your house to show, just as nice as when you were setting it up for showings originally.
Right.
So inside the house, Make sure all the windows can open and close easily. If there's like cranks missing, replace them, that sort of thing. Make sure all the light bulbs are working so that there's no questions whether or not there's an electrical issue. Just
Sure.
If you got a burnt out light bulb, they're not going to know whether it's a burnt
Yeah,
out light
yeah,
bulb.
exactly. Yeah, the lights work. It's got to work.
Yes, and you should have all working light bulbs whenever you get your home ready for showings in the first place. That's a very lazy mistake to make.
Yeah.
Nail holes, punctures in walls, punctures in ceilings, make sure they're all filled and fixed. Check and make sure your ceiling fans are securely attached. This is maybe a little less common one that they catch, but ensure all the outlets are tightly screwed to the wall. Test your sump pump to make sure it's working. If there's any wire splices, whether they've got wire nuts or electrical tape or whatever, instead of that, make sure there's a junction box.
Yep.
So covering any live wires. Make sure that there's smoke detectors in every bedroom, and then CO and smoke detector combination units in the common areas. You might, so if your attic hatch is like sealed from the outside, like painted over, you might have to cut that with like a box cutter or carpet cutter, a carpet knife, to make sure they can access the attic, because they are going to need to access the attic. And the other thing is make sure that the top of the attic hatch, the part that actually goes up into the attic, is insulated and weather stripped. So if there's insulation over all of the ceiling except for that attic hatch, that's going to be a spot where cold air can come down, condensation, all that kind of stuff. So you don't want that. And there's a cheap kit you can get from Menards or Lowe's or whatever to insulate and weather strip that attic hatch. Kitchen, laundry, bathroom. Make sure that all the sinks are working without leaks. Make sure hot and cold water are working. Check the water heater for leaks. Check laundry connection for leaks. Check all faucets for water pressure. Try cleaning the aerators or the screens within those faucets.
And the faucets,
Sometimes like vinegar works really good for that sort of thing.
Now, a drippy faucet, you see them all the time. People are thinking, well, it's not leaking. But that is a leak.
Yeah.
And
It's
that's
just
something that
one
should be
more thing
fixed.
on the list. You want as few things on that list as possible. So,
I mean, it could just be a gasket. You might need a whole new faucet, but it's still an easy fix.
Yep, inexpensive, and it's not worth just one more thing adding to the list. It could be the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Sure.
Depending on how that inspection goes and how fragile the buyers are.
Right.
So check your garbage disposal and your dishwasher. Make sure all your kitchen appliances are working. Make sure all the burners and elements are working. Check for tripped or missing breakers. Make sure that if there's like gaps between the backsplash and the countertop, that you caulk them.
Yep.
All these little things are pretty easy. Make sure that this is a super common one that they catch. Make sure that the bathroom fan vents to the exterior.
Oh, yeah.
You'd be surprised how many bathroom fans they have, and they just bought it, and they are shooting all the hot, humid air from the bathroom right up into the attic, which is
not good.
No, it's going to cause condensation. So vent it out properly to the exterior. Outlets within 6 feet of a water source should be protected by a GFI. So that's going to be kitchens, bathrooms, laundry rooms. If they're not on a GFI breaker, get a GFI outlet installed.
Yeah, I mean, that's code, isn't it?
Yeah, and so this isn't a code inspection. It's like a third party, just a personal home inspector. So it's not a code inspection, but it is something they're going to catch, and it's a safety hazard every time.
Okay.
Exterior, make sure water drains away from the home. So if you need to, you could, if you're planning way ahead, bring in some extra black dirt and make sure that there's a slope.
Nice slope, yeah.
I think they want there to be like a 1 foot change in elevation away from the home in the first 6 feet away from the home.
Okay.
So it's especially going to get called out if it's completely flat or if it's, negative, where it drains back towards the house, because increases the, if anything, it helps, having the positive grade away from it helps preserve the foundation. Also prevents the chance of getting water in the basement. All that kind of stuff. Fix any loose shingles. Check the steps for loose bricks or anything like that. Fix that up if it could be a tripping hazard. Check for loose handrails. That could be a safety hazard. Check the auto reverse on the garage door. Make sure that that's working, because that's also a safety hazard if it's not working, and they'll catch it every time. Make sure all your downspouts are connected and working properly. Make sure your gutters are cleared out too. Even if you haven't cleaned your gutters the entire time you've owned your house, clean them out before you sell, because if they see that, it's going to show everybody that you didn't maintain your house properly. So it's like, what else
Right.
did you maintain? Any areas where there's chipped and peeling paint. Now back to your comments about appraisal. This is going to be an issue for appraisal. If somebody's doing a VA or USDA or FHA loan, they can't have any chipped and peeling paint on homes built before 1978. So scrape and repaint areas with chipped and peeling paint. That should be, before you even list the house. Make sure all the chimney flashing on the roof is sealed. So that's kind of a run through. Not very many expensive big things on it, but if you can check that list off, those are some of the most common things that we see.
Yeah, and even some of the things you mentioned, you don't have to be a contractor or an electrician or a plumber to fix some of these. I mean, granted, if you feel more comfortable calling a professional to do it, but it's not that hard to replace a faucet. It's not that hard to go caulk your flashing on your chimney and just get a tube of blackjack and go to town. But one thing that I noticed that you said, give yourself a couple of hours during the inspection. Does that mean the inspector does not want you there? Or can you hang around and watch him? Or because I know if I was inspecting a house, I wouldn't want the previous owner or the new potential owner to be there.
Dude, don't be there. You have to. You need to be gone. We've had horror stories where the sellers tried to hang around and try to block the inspector.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't want to go in that room.
No, don't be there. The inspector doesn't want you there, and the inspector and the buyers want to be able to, discuss in privacy. Usually, what will happen is it's 2 hours long. So let's say the inspection's scheduled for 9. At 11, the buyers will show up as the inspector is getting finished, and the inspector will walk the buyers through everything that he found. You want to be able to have that conversation in privacy.
Sure.
So any agent that lets their seller hang around for this, bad on you. Don't do that.
Okay.
Very annoying.
Well, I learned something new again.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And now I know why they call you guys realty experts.
Yeah.
Got
now you know not to hang around and bug the inspector for the whole time and try to explain away every little.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you just, that's when the inspector says, my rates go up double while you watch.
There you go. That'd be hilarious.
We used to say that back in the contracting world. They'd sit there and watch you pouring concrete, and they'd say, look, either grab a shovel or we're going to charge you more to watch.
Yeah. Nice in their nice, cool, air-conditioned house. Yeah.
Got big plans for the weekend?
My wife, Carolyn, has a CrossFit competition that she's doing at CrossFit Soulfire in Grand Forks.
Yep.
Dustin and Molly McWilliams are the people who own that. So they're putting on a competition there. People from a bunch of gyms in the region are coming there to compete in it. So that should be fun. Lots of stuff going on. Conor McGregor fight.
You guys are probably one of the healthiest families out there.
I don't know. You should see us eat on the weekends.
Hey, thanks, John, and wish your wife good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
It's good seeing you again, man.
That.
How do we get a hold of you?
701-213-5428. Follow my business page on Facebook, John Brody and Berkshire Hathaway Realtor.
Well, we mentioned some of these things that might need to be fixed up a little bit before a home inspection. If you're not comfortable doing it, like I said, and you want to hire some professionals to do your fixing for you, might I recommend Executive Properties. They do everything, whether it be, fixing the flashing on your chimney, or maybe your kitchens or bathrooms, or you want some new doors or trim and tile and cabinets. They do it all right? These guys have got a ton of experience. Maybe you need that little bit of work done to your house before you get ready to sell, or maybe you buy one that needs a little bit of work. There you go, Executive Properties, 701-330-1273, or go to executiveproperties.org. Well, we wish everybody a very happy weekend, and especially from all the great folks at Berkshire Hathaway. And there you go, your Berkshire Hathaway bi-weekly podcast on GFBS.